So, last update of the trip, Colombia, and what we did there. So, July 20th, we traveled from Cancun in Mexico to Bogota. We stayed in my brother's house in La Calera for a few days until the 25th that the family of my wife arrived. We stayed in Bogota for 3 days until the 28th. Then we went to Garzon, to my mom's house. Um, they stayed 5, 6 days until the 2nd of August. They went to Medellin, some towns around Medellin, and then Cartagena. And I stayed in Garzon with my mom. I went also to Neiva for a couple of days. And the 9th of August, I traveled to Santa Marta to my sister. I stayed with her until the 13th that I met again with Jensen's, and we were in a resort about 1.5 hours away from Santa Marta, on the other side of Parque Tayrona, which is a really nice place. 18th, the Jansen family went back to the Netherlands again, and we stayed there in the resort for a few days, and then we went to Santa Marta. 26th, we did a day trip to Minca, and somewhere around these dates, also my sister was doing a beach volley tournament there in the beach of Santa Marta. Pedro and Caro, my brother and his wife, they were also in Santa Marta these days. And Anuka, after Minca, Anuka went back to the resort to have some time for herself. And we went with Asami on the 3rd to the 4th of September. We went to visit her at the resort one night, and then back to my sister's in Santa Marta. Then a couple days later, Anuka came back to Santa Marta, and on the September 9th, we traveled to Garzon again, and we stayed there for a few weeks until the 30th of September, when we traveled to Bogota overnight on a bus. So we were these days in Bogota. On October 5th, Anuka and Sami took a plane and they traveled to Greece, where they were for a week for the wedding of a very good friend of Anuka. And then they went to the Netherlands, I think around 9th, 12th, something like that. I stayed in Bogota all these days until the 23rd was the wedding of a very good friend of mine. So I stayed, that's why I stayed. And October 25th, I took a plane. The 26th, around noon, I arrived in Amsterdam. And in the airport were Anouk, Asami, and Anouk's dad. They were waiting for me there. So that's basically the summary of what we did for 3 months in Colombia.